You know, when you're young, you usually want the biggest, baddest thing out there for no particular reason. When I was 18, I carried a Desert Eagle 44. Just because. But when you're pushing 50 like I am, sometimes stuff like this just doesn't make sense in your mind. Let's give it a shot. The B.F.R 4570. Welcome to Wheelgun Wednesday. Holy crap. If it looked like it hurt, that's because it did. This is the Magnum Research 4570 in a 5-shot 10-inch barreled revolver. Now, the first thing that comes to my mind is, why in the heck did they not put a compensator of some type on this monster gun? I've shot a lot of guns that have some pretty nasty recoil, from the titanium scandium alloy lightweight 44s from Smith & Wesson all the way up to the 500 Smith & Wesson, which if you watch the Shoot a Gun Everyday May series that we did, shot it a bunch, and it was nowhere as brutal on the hand as what this 4570 was. Now, Magnum Research does do this in a variety of calibers. They offer it in .30-30 Winchester, 444 Marlin, 450 Marlin, a 45 long Colt 410, the 4570 that we tested here today, a 460, and of course the 500 Smith & Wesson. All of these big calibers out of a B.F.R, the big, finest revolver. Okay, so you might ask yourself, why in the heck would I even want a revolver that big? Well, considering that this weighs in a little over 5 pounds, it has a 10-inch barrel, you can get decent accuracy and balance out of it. Now, if you're wanting something that has fantastic stopping power in a revolver, you really don't need to look much farther. There's not much in North America that I can even come up with that this thing won't take out. The sights are just a factory black, fixed front and rear adjustable. Like most single action revolvers, the cylinder is unlocked by opening the loading gate. In this particular model, you do not have to pull the hammer back into half cock to get the cylinder to rotate. Now, the B.F.R has the top strap drilled and tapped already, which is nice, and it also includes a stainless steel scope mount. Now, installing the scope mount, however, requires you to remove the rear sight to put it on. So if you plan on putting a scope on, just go to the fact that you're going to have to remove that rear sight and not have a backup, just in case the recoil from this destroys your scope. With the Magnum Research B.F.Rs pushing $1,200 on MSRP, you need to decide if this is one of those revolvers for you. All right, so Casey stopped by. This is your revolver that you brought in for me to play with. All right, I got to ask you the question. Why the hell did you buy this B.F.R?
So, I mean, for me, I wanted to start handgun hunting, so I went and read an article by Larry Vickers, I think, of Midway USA, and he went over to Africa and shot a hippo with some like 500 oddball and an encore pistol.
Right.
And I thought, you know, that'd be awesome if you go out and deer hunt with a pistol. So I had 245 long Colts, but I wanted something that nobody else had that stood out. And as you can tell, this one does a pretty good job of it.
It definitely stands out. When I first started shooting the video, it wasn't long between the sound people were coming back, and the viewing window back there was packed with people watching this gun come flying up over my head. So it was definitely drew a crowd, because not many people see them. So have you hunted with it?
I have hunted with it. I've hunted the last 3 years with it. I've only killed one buck with it, I will say that. But the buck was 75 yards away, 1 shot, 1 kill. The gun did phenomenal. Had a scope on it at the time, and I would say if you're gonna hunt at long distance, maybe 100 yards, a nice quality scope would be a big part of it. Have
you had any problems with scopes with the amount of recoil that you're getting out of this, and certainly the amount of shock that's traveling through the frame as well?
Yes, because most of your handgun scopes should be ready for like 454, 44 Magnum maybe. To find a handgun scope rated for 4570 is not gonna happen.
So the scope that you had, did it survive?
It is not here with us anymore.
Oh, that's it. Yep. Another one bites the dust.
12 rounds was the total. That
12 rounds, no kidding. All right, well, we won't name the manufacturer of that scope, so, you know, I don't want to bang on too much, but it sounds like it just didn't hold up to that kind of shock and recoil. Now, as I mentioned in the video earlier, it does come with a stainless steel base, right, from Magnum Research, and it's fitted to the gun, but you have to remove your rear sight.
Yes.
So Was it a pain in the ass to remove that rear sight? What do you have to do on there?
This is a pretty easy set. I think you're gonna take this screw out, these two screws are gonna come out, and you're gonna have one little spring in here you don't wanna lose. But other than that, it's gonna come out, slide right in. I mean,
No problem at all?
no problem at all, no.
Okay.
I mean, everything on this gun is built super nice, super precise. These are built on Ruger Super Blackhawk frames.
Right.
And for me, I'm a big Ruger guy, so I have a lot of Rugers. And when I wanted to buy the handgun, Ruger was pretty much what I wanted. The Super Blackhawk Hunter was the only other contender for a hunting pistol for me.
Right.
And being built on a Super Blackhawk frame, can't beat it.
Now, they have a couple other calibers out there. They do a 30-30, which again is a rifle cartridge. They do a 440 Marlin, along with several others, 500 Smith & Wesson. Did you look or consider any other calibers, or you just know 45-70 was the one you were going with?
I can't say hate, but I don't like 30-30.
Okay.
I've had some bad luck with their rifles, and I just wasn't willing to take the chance on the pistol, I guess.
Sure.
So the 500 is, in my mind, overrated. I think it got a lot of hype because Smith & Wesson put the biggest revolver on the market first.
Right.
And for me, I think it's a big heavy bullet, but I think the 45-70 does everything better. So that's where kind of
I don't think there's anything in North America that you can't take out with it.
Probably not.
So,
no.
So overall, performance, accuracy, over the last 3 years that you've been hunting with it, are there anything that you could tell people you might want to change this, or watch out for this because this may not be the revolver for you, or is everything pretty much just as solid as it's going to get, and get it if you want the biggest boy on the block?
I would, and we talked about this, but I would look at changing out the grips. We talked about getting Hope Tamers on this. That would really help it out. And you talked about Magnum 40 barrel. I hadn't thought about that because that just wasn't, I don't know. I don't think this is that awful. I can see that some people would.
You're young.
Yeah, I'm young. I mean, that helps.
I talked about this. I carried a Desert Eagle when I was 18, 19 years old because, why not? Nothing can hurt me. When you're getting ready to turn 50, stuff like that hurts your wrist. My wrist was sore the next day. It was. So.
But when I brought this gun in, I told you that I thought it wasn't much more than a 44 Magnum.
Yeah.
And I guess that could be sort of a lie because the 44 Magnum that I have is the 2-inch version.
Yeah.
So
I can see where that would be comparable to a 2-inch 44.
Yeah, that might make a little difference.
With a heavy load
Yeah.
and a very light gun. I think you'd probably be pretty close.
Yeah.
So what's the most you've shot? Have you gone out and shot for a day, like at the range, sighting it in, that kind of thing?
I think 12 rounds was the most in one day because when the scope went out, I was like, I'm just going to take it off and put irons back on.
Right, yeah.
No point in
Didn't
sighting
shoot
it
after
with
that?
irons. I think I put maybe like 3 rounds through it.
Yeah.
And it hit the water bucket and I was like, I'm good, time to go.
I was done at 5. Fifth round, I was done. I was like, that's it. I'm like, it's good, I've shot it.
It can be rough. I know a lot of people won't shoot it. I mean, they just don't want to.
Yeah, well, we just talked to Eric on our way in here to shoot the video and said, hey man, he's getting ready to take his gun home. You sure you want to try this? No, I don't want to try it. So
it ain't that bad.
No, but it is intimidating. And I can tell you when I was walking around the shop with it, getting ready to do some videos and in between, dealing with customers and stuff like that, customers were coming up and like, man, what the hell is that? And I was like, it's a 45-70 revolver. What? I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool. So it's definitely a conversation piece for sure.
A con for this gun would definitely be buying like aftermarket holsters. You're not going to find anybody that makes a holster for this gun.
Yeah, we don't carry anything.
No. I don't think there's anybody that makes one, to be honest.
Yep.
I know the shotgun strap, I mean, that's what.
Yep, so we're at 10-inch barrel, so you're probably 10, 6, 8, probably 18 or so inches overall, 19 inches overall.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big issue. All right, cool. Well, Casey, thank you very much for bringing that by, man. I really appreciate it. It was fun. It's not something, honestly, I'd ever buy for myself. I mean, I don't know what the hell I'd do with it. Yeah, good for you, man. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week on Wheelgun Wednesday. Yeah, I've had enough. That's good. That'll be good. We'll just do a lot of talking in this video, not much shooting. God. So these do come in a couple different barrel lengths. Now the sights are just factory black fixed fights. The B.F.R comes with the top strap drilled and tapped already, and it includes a stainless steel scoop. Like most single action revolvers, you open.